whenever you're feeling down, whenever you don't know why or where or like any reasons for whatever is happening, that is the moment you are becoming stronger. That is when you're a hero. Not when you think, okay, this will solve and I will be like great or whatever. But when you don't know and you persevere through that moment of not knowing, that makes you, how you say, molded in hot flames. That makes you who you are. And that makes you great. That forges a star, in my opinion. Because it's like in a gym, for example, if somebody's lifting hard weights and you go to the maximum and you don't know if you can lift it, at the moment of pushing, whether you lift it or not, you are becoming stronger.
If you're a professional actor challenged by an increasingly fragmented industry, then this podcast is for you. The Hollywood Actor Podcast is an anthology made up of the stories of actors building their bodies of work by redefining themselves, reframing their goals, and reevaluating their opportunities. No matter where we are in our careers, we're always looking to be inspired and to share ourselves across our community. This podcast offers that opportunity to guests and to listeners alike as we all discover what it means to be a working, professional, successful actor. This is Jamie Young, and you're listening to the Hollywood Actor Podcast. Today's guest is Aleksandar Filimonovic. Aleks studied at the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute in New York City. His credits include CBS's NCIS, FX's The Americans, and the Netflix original movie Dolemite is My Name, which released to Netflix last month. Follow Aleks on Facebook and on his Instagram as @AleksFilm. Now please welcome Hollywood actor Aleksandar Filimonovic.
First of all, I was born in ancient country of Yugoslavia, which ceased to exist a few years ago. There was just too many little states within it that all thought they knew what would be the best way to run the country. So the country split, and a year before the actual, there was a war there, not in Serbia or in Belgrade where I used to live, but in the other republics. And a year before the war started, we moved as a family to Moscow. So I avoided it because my dad's company decided to get us out just for him to do business. Until Yugoslavia existed, it was very similar to America. It was very open. It was a powerful country. People could travel everywhere. Hollywood was very present. Rock and roll was very present. Yeah, absolutely. We grew up on Hollywood movies and from Beatles to American rock stars, and like.
You're heavily influenced by American culture.
Absolutely. The difference is that what was great about Yugoslavia, that we had access to Eastern culture and Western culture without being on each side of those. Wow. Where if you're West, the politics tends to scare people away from East, and same goes in the East. But we were somewhere in the middle. We didn't belong to any block, so we had access to both of those sides. And I think that access and that openness that Yugoslavia used to have was what actually was the first seed of me being interested in arts and acting, being that I was able to travel to Moscow and see ballet at Bolshoi Theater, and then also watch American Hollywood movies and grow up watching Stallone and Schwarzenegger and De Niro and Al Pacino, etc.
Yeah.
So all of those things were like how I'd say overloading my emotions, and I just felt a need to express myself in a similar way. My dad was a big soccer player in Yugoslavia, so sports was always a big part of my life, and I did make a decision in my early youth, even though I was attending some acting schools, to try sports. And as I trained soccer, which, as you know, is more popular in Europe, although USA is catching up, I got a scholarship to go to college in London, Royal Holloway, University of London, which we talked before the record button.
Yeah,
Which
we're both alumni.
Exactly, exactly. So after that scholarship, I realized that soccer is not really like it was when my dad used to play. Because I grew up watching
Yeah.
him and his buddies all being friends, being sort of a team that fights for each other. But what I got to experience was a couple of good people, a couple of friends that I made, but a lot of people pretty much, hoping you'll break a leg so that they get to play. I mean, it wasn't a bunch of like 300 Spartans, all holding each other's back, which was a heartbreak for me regarding sports. And I tried to fight it. I tried to do my thing and sort of find the right team, but then the whole business of it, that it became a money thing, not really a sports thing. It got to me, and I decided to do to reach into the other part of my soul, which was brought on by I guess being exposed to what I mentioned before, both Hollywood and Russian theater and ballet.
And your
uh,
mother was a professional
and
artist, right?
from my mother's side, yes, my mom is a singer. When she was 10 years old, in old Yugoslavia, and there were like 3 TV channels, I think black and white. She would sing, and she has a voice like Edith Piaf with that tiny
Wow.
vibrato, like wonderful sounding. However, her mom and dad were like too old school. They were like, we're not gonna get you a piano. You should focus on school. You should do like economics. So they kind of didn't let her pursue that. And throughout her life, she finished she's a, how do you say, economy
An
major.
economist?
Yeah, yeah. And that's where she met my dad, who parallel to soccer career or also went to the uni. And she sort of had that, she wasn't able to release it. So because of that, and she's very hot-headed, just like my dad, she stuck to arts in whichever way she could. So she was dancing, she was acting, and obviously she was singing. She never made it a professional career. However, she was always supporting me and my younger sister to pursue arts with all of our hearts, because I guess she went through that heartbreak of not being allowed to pursue it, and she didn't want the same to happen to us. So I had a lot of support from both of my parents. Dad isn't really a full-time believer in this art artistic business, especially acting, because
Still?
like
You haven't brought him around?
well, he is now. He is now. You're
Okay.
right. But he wasn't up until recently. He wasn't discouraging me. But when you don't see that big smile, like, oh my God, I'm all behind you, son. It's kind of, you realize that it's not fully there. However, like I said, the actual heartbreak of soccer, and then 2 years afterwards of me deciding what I'm gonna do with my life, because I already had a computer science degree. But like I mentioned again
Yeah.
before the record, I didn't want to look into the 10,000 lines of code where I misplaced a bracket. I like to play video games, but like not really code. So when I found myself and decided, that I want to be happy in life and I want to pursue something, that it's not the end of the world if my soccer career didn't come to be, I went full into it. And honestly, everything that I don't want to say failed, but everything that failed me in life before is actually turning out to be an advantage now. Because realizing what I got through to be here, and as we go on with this podcast, you'll hear a few more interesting stories. This just strengthened me, on my resolve to be an actor.
Yeah, we've been talking to a lot of different actors on the podcast who have found their way to Hollywood in so many different ways, later in life or earlier in life, based on an accident they had, or some
Mm-hmm.
sort of strange happenstance with their family, or traveling with their family and being uprooted and relocated, and just trying to continue to pursue that thing that's burning within you, trying to express yourself, seems to be a common thread within the acting community.
I agree. I mean, I've met people who had what I guess I would perceive as an easier route. Sorry, I'm still like thinking in a few languages. So, but I don't allow myself to judge, because I'm sure that first of all, not everybody expresses what they feel in the same way, and
Mm-hmm.
unless you spend every millisecond in somebody's shoes of their life, you can't judge, and only a higher power can do that. So, from my experience, what you said is true. Like it took a lot of a lot of times my head hitting the wall and heartbreaks from in different areas of life, like breakup with girlfriend, and like disappointment with soccer, and looking back at what was once a great country to see it now, dissolved into many little states, a lot of things which were sort of disappointing and would make you ask, why would this have to happen? That if you get through it, leads you on to become a stronger person.
Yeah, there's so many facets of life. And I think following up on that question, why, wanting to ask
Yeah,
that is, that thing that's resonating in us that we're pursuing, even not knowing what that thing is necessarily, but keeping that question in our minds, why, how, trying to answer
absolutely.
them for ourselves seems to be the purview of the artist, psychologist,
I
philosopher.
agree. I agree, absolutely. And psychology and philosophy. I mean, first of all, for acting, those are huge parts of it, if not like 50-50. But what I would like to add on to this is, for whoever listens to this, whenever you're feeling down, whenever you don't know why or where or like any reasons for whatever is happening, that is the moment you are becoming stronger. That is when you're a hero. Not when you think, okay, this will solve and I will be like great or whatever. But when you don't know and you persevere through that moment of not knowing, that makes you, how you say, molded in hot flames. That makes you who you are. And that makes you great. That forges a star, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Because it's like in a gym, for example, if somebody's lifting hard weights and you go to the maximum and you don't know if you can lift it, at the moment of pushing, whether you lift it or not, you are becoming stronger. So it's all about remembering
That's a
that you
powerful
are a
image.
hero. You are a hero when it's hard, not when you see the solution. You are a hero when it's hard, and that's what, sort of, when you manage to remember that, you manage to push through, you get through, and after some time the results come and you feel more confident. Like, I mean, at auditions, honestly, you can bring my idols. I'm not going to name them so they don't become intimidated, but you can bring them. I won't be intimidated by a millimeter. And that wasn't always like that. It
Yeah.
took me a lot of heartbreaks and disappointments, and persevering through that, and to keep fighting to get to that.
And you were starting to get into the professional world of acting, you said, with a couple acting classes
Oh,
back when you were
yeah,
younger. And then when you went to Serbia after your university experience, you started working with an
yeah.
acting group.
So I was only 20 when I had a college degree in my pocket, and knowing that I'm not going to do it, and still sort of wanting to pursue soccer, I had more free time, and I was very fortunate to be accepted in Mika Aleksic's acting group in Yugoslavia, because okay, not all, but definitely 80 to 90% of our top actors went through his school. The thing is that he works with kids, and the latest, the oldest people he would accept would be like 15 or 16, and then he trained them for a couple of years, and then send them out onto the faculty of dramatic arts.
So you were
So
a little on the older side when you came to
I
him.
was, and I came in, like, his how do you say, admissions exam is super hard, because you prepare everything. You prepare monologues. You show your singing, dancing skills, martial, whatever you got. Everything you got,
Wow.
you show. But when I came there, and he said, "Okay, now boys, come up front," and when I stood up, he was like, "No, not you." So I was sitting out. I was sitting out through 2 hours of other people auditioning in front of me, and then every now and then, his way of audition is
Yeah.
to really intimidate everybody. For example, as some guy was doing the main part of his monologue, he would turn to me, and as this guy is doing, he would start speaking to me. He said, "Do you know what geriatrics means? Is that how you say it in English? Geriatrics, like the
Yeah.
yeah." And I looked at him. Thankfully, I didn't know, but I knew he was messing with me. So I kind of pretended that like I'm a little hurt. I was like, yes, I know. And he was like, good. And then when I went home and like Googling, I was like, that, you know. So anyway, he was trying to disbalance everybody. Even that guy who was doing the monologue, he was to see what we're made of. And that's his way of choosing kids. So when we were done and everybody was turning to leave, he asked me to come back, and he said, why do you want to be an actor? If at that moment I didn't have 6 mouths to say everything I wanted, I was like, because, well, you know, after 2 hours of thinking, he'll never ask me anything, you know. So he said, you know, I'll give you 1 month, you know, a shot. And then I ended up staying for that year. And a month before preparing to enroll into the Faculty of Dramatic Arts, I actually had another glimpse at a soccer career possibly happening, and I said, no, I just finished one college. I don't have it in me to go right away through another one. And I pursued soccer for another. I did learn so much with Mika, so much, which later on helped me a lot at Strasberg in New York. Mika was really making everybody, from kids up to me, making us get to know ourselves, which is the number one thing you need to do as an actor. You need to know what kind of paper you are, where you have something written on you, what are your emotions, what are your advantages and disadvantages. You have to know that you have to be fully honest. You know, fortune favors the brave. You have to be fully honest with yourself, because then you know what you can bring, what matches the characters that you're pursuing to be, and what you need to, what people say, act, you know, what you need to change and to adapt. So Mika was very good in that. And I learned a lot. I played soccer for a couple of more years. Nothing changed, you know, with my first impressions that it's not a game that I hoped it would be. And I said, you know, F this. I did have a chance as I was a soccer player. I was invited by a youth team in New York, who came to visit me when I was an all-star player in England at the University of London colleges. And I met them, and they invited me to go and like train them for a month and a half. So I did remember I was 21. It was like in the middle of vacation when when I was in Mika school. So I remember that 2 years later, and that as I walked in New York and I stumbled upon Union Square, and there was like, it said acting school over there. And I was like, Strasberg? I had no idea who Strasberg was. And I walk in just to take a look, and then I see that Al Pacino studied under him, and De Niro, and basically my favorite actors, you know. And I remember that. So when I quit soccer, I was like, what do I want to do with my life, you know? I was working a little bit in one of my dad's companies. I was just searching for myself, and I remembered, you know, maybe I can try and apply to that. And as I did, and I got accepted, and I moved on to Strasberg, and I spent 2 years in New York and 1 year also under Strasberg OPT, which is a work permit given by university if you complete everything. In LA, like that's where I found myself.
What did you hope to gain from Strasberg that you didn't get from your work with Mika?
Well, first of all, you know, just the idea of moving to Hollywood. Well, I mean New York, but still sort of to America, which is like right there. New York is where a lot of big names started before moving to LA. It was, I don't know, first it was a dream come true, and I didn't even know what the dream was. It was just something, you know, some rose-colored cloud that like I want to get into. Like, oh my God, I want to see what it's about. So living in New York is a school of life in itself. It's a world it's the only city in the world that I've seen that could be described as planet Earth in one place, if I can say so. You know, everything is there and everything is close, and there's so much talent, and it's a little rough, you know. Like, if you can't just go. I love LA because I can just, chill and rest and relax when I want to, and then when I need the crowd, I just go somewhere. In New York, if you sleep like more than 4 or 5 hours, you're like missing out. Everything is happening. So living in New York was a huge experience, and then Strasberg itself, method worked a lot for me. I mean, I'm a logical person. I like to believe in magic. I like to believe that magic exists, but you have to prove it to me logically, which is, sort of counterproductive. But, it makes me struggle harder to find the essence of whatever I'm doing, including search for that magic. So method works for me, especially Strasberg.
Did you think Strasberg prepared you for working in the New York City market, or did you move to Los Angeles almost immediately?
It literally gave me choices to choose where I want to be. I love theater as well, and I did perform off Broadway. I've done also musical. I've done some Strasberg plays that we were doing at the time. But my idea was, because I already, as I said, I wasn't a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old with like my whole life and acting ahead of me. I sort of felt that I already invested too much, a decade into soccer. I got the degree in computer science, and I sort of needed to fast track a little.
Okay.
And I love movies. I'm not going to say, a lot of actors say, they prefer theater, and a lot of actors lie that they prefer theater just because they think it sounds cool. Like, I'm a real artist. I love theater. It's separate arts. For me, but now that I've been doing TV shows and film mostly, I can say I love them both the same. However, they are different arts. In theater, once you pump yourself up, once you're directed, once you're prepared, when you get on the stage, it's like a soccer game. It's okay, here we go, green light, it's on you. It's also chronological, so you train your emotions to go a certain way. Now imagine a scene in a movie where a scene starts and you're all happy, you got to radiate happiness, you got to find it within you, and then towards the end of the scene you should break down, hear some horrible news, cry or whatever, and then cut. Everybody goes back to reality, everybody's shuffling, moving about, and they're like, okay, let's do this again. You got to retract all your emotion, all the energy that you've given away, go back to being happy again, and then you might end up doing it 20, 30 times, if they mess up, the lights or are moving around different angles. So that's pretty hard. Like, for me, it's easier to roll onto, just like prepare, and then you go into and do the thing, and boom, you got it done. So
it's like driving with a stick shift in a car versus an automatic, It's a lot less smooth.
Absolutely. So obviously theater doesn't forgive mistakes because there's no second takes. So, everything has its advantages and disadvantages. I have a lot of respect for both. And my belief is that I would love to do theater. My belief is that in reality today, if you're a movie star, if you're a known face, unfortunately, which is unfair towards people who bravely want to do theater, really want to do theater before movies, and they stick with it, unfortunately, a movie star has a much bigger chance of getting a role because he will attract the audience. It's hard to attract the audience. Absolutely.
Back in the day, this was even 50, 60 years ago, they'd bring Broadway stars to Hollywood to star in the movies.
Exactly.
Now it's the other way around. And for off-Broadway, not even just Broadway.
It is. So today, like, if you open up the papers every now and then, does anybody do that? Or like Google it or whatever. And you will read, for example, this big name is going to be in this production. So they're going sort of the other way around. They're attracting audience by bringing the big movie names onto Broadway. And then those theaters are then sold out, So, it's a there's a power called, money that is sort of fighting to be the god to people today. So if it rules, it sort of sets the rules, and the rules are, that I want to make more of myself. Money wants to make more money. So, that's where we live right now. Well, if anybody who listens to this prefers theater, I tell them, go for it, do your thing. For I don't feel like I'm selling out because I love movies as much, maybe even a little more than theater, So I plan to do theater, but primarily to set my footprint, as a movie star or then a TV star, and then be able to do my choices. Otherwise, if I try to get into movies through theater, I might be sitting somewhere for 10, 15 years or who knows how long until I get my chance.
Yeah.
You're learning a few plays, you're a backup for somebody, then they bring a star, comes in just as you're about to, they're like, okay, we'll sign this guy. Then he leaves, then they bring a movie star. So,
Yeah.
it's just a lot of time going by. And I personally, I worked a lot on my patience because, I had to with everything that was happening in life. However, I'm energetic and I need things to be happening, so just sitting and waiting for that one role, like going to rehearsals for years and, being a backup doesn't really work for me. A lot of respect for those that manage to fight through that. But like I said, I don't feel like I'm selling out or going the easier way because I do love movies. So for me, coming to LA sort of was where I wanted to be, and the way I wanted to make it.
How'd you start finding Hollywood when you first moved here? Was it a big culture shock to you, having spent time in New York? I know it was for me, even being an American, moving to Los Angeles. It was very much different from the idea you see in the movies and from what everybody had been telling me on the streets of New York.
So it was interesting. The first time I came to LA, it was actually, I just went through a breakup with my ex-girlfriend in New York. And being that I am emotional, I get like, when I'm in a relationship, I get attached, and that kind of hit me, and I just needed a change. And just as we broke up, my mom actually came up with an idea. I was going to stay in New York for another month, then go back to Belgrade, which is the capital of Serbia, which is like former Yugoslavia. And I was going to go home, but I still had a month to wait before my return ticket, and I was waiting for my OPT from school. So my mom said, "You know what, Alex? Since you're there, why don't you book a flight and go see Los Angeles?" And I was like, it was Monday morning, I think. And I was like, "You think so? Like when?" She's like, "I don't know. Go this weekend. Go like next week. Go Friday or something."
Yeah.
So as we were talking, and I was like, "You know what? Hold on a second." And I Googled, and I bought a ticket in like hour and 45 minutes. And I said, "I'm going right now." And she's like, "What do you mean now?" I said, "I'm going right now. Bye, Mom." So
Bye.
it just felt like I just needed to change focus, and
Yeah.
like it wasn't just the end of our relationship. I just finished acting school. And, when you get out of acting school or any school, you're like, unless you have like a big role or a big job promised, then you're like, okay, now I have no excuse to not be working, but how do I do it now? Like, what do I go around with a diploma? Like, hey guys, I'm an actor.
I
Hire
know,
me.
right?
So that was like, so I needed some snap, and LA was that, just the idea of going over there. So as I came, I landed. I posted on Facebook, "Hey guys, I'm in LA. If anybody's here, let me know where to go." I got no idea. I was literally in the airport, and a buddy of mine responded. He was like, "Alex, I'll come pick you up. Why don't you stay at my place?" He picked me up, and as he drove me, he was in Little Tokyo,
Downtown.
downtown. Yeah, drove me. I remember seeing Santa Monica Boulevard, the street, and I was like, okay. So I just noticed that, and then we talked a little. And he was like, let me take you to the beach so you see everything. So as we drove to the beach, I completely, I was looking left and right. I completely forgot that we were driving for about 40 minutes. And when we got there, and he was like, "Listen, I got to go do something. I'll come pick you up. Like, when do you want?" I was like, "No, don't worry. I'll get back on my own." He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Don't worry." He's like, "Are you sure it's far away?" Like, "No, man, I'll figure it out. Come on, I'm a grown man." He's like, "Okay, call me if anything." So he leaves. My phone dies. And the reason that I said I'm going to find a way back is because in Santa Monica, I saw Santa Monica Boulevard. I was like, okay, it's the same street. It must be around the corner.
No.
So actually, the night came, and I was like, okay, let me get home. And I started walking, and I was walking for about 3.5 hours. My
Just
phone,
down
Dad.
Santa Monica Boulevard?
Yeah, just down Santa Monica Boulevard. Obviously, I was like stopping by,
You're
looking at
like, it's not
everything
this
on Beverly
corner,
Hills.
not this
Yeah,
corner.
it's not. And I was like, where are those huge buildings? Then I come towards Westwood, and they're like a little taller. I was like, okay, this is it. No, it's not it. I walked from Santa Monica to downtown.
Oh my God.
All the way from the beach to downtown via Santa Monica Boulevard because I saw the same name of the street, and I was like, okay, that's the same city, whatever. So, but I needed that. It actually, like I was dead, like I was that tired, but I needed that because first of all, just walking. First of all, I'm among the palm trees. Belgrade doesn't have palm trees. Belgrade has weather like New York, so hot summers and cold winters.
Yeah.
So palm trees really don't, grow there very well. So seeing palm trees is something that reminds me as a kid of all those great movies like, Police Academy in Miami, and everything like, okay, they're having fun, So at least that was fun. And then I came up to West Hollywood and there was the store. Everybody was obviously partying. It's West Hollywood. And there was the store with those fancy classical cars on the right side. So all those little things that I was seeing and just, sort of, and that mentality that I have that I spoke about in the beginning of, when it's hard, when you don't know how things will work out or if they will work out, that's when you grow. I felt inside me that this is the right path. That I don't know how I'm gonna get through finishing acting school, not having a job. When I'll get through the breakup, I didn't have solutions for those things. But the fact that I was making each step towards like moving, first getting home,
Literally,
hopefully,
yeah.
That sort of inside, It started feeling like a Hollywood story. I started feeling like a lead role in some movie that I'm watching. So that was sort of pushing me on, that the struggle was pushing me on.
And talk about an LA walking tour.
Oh my God! Talk about I loved it. I mean, it was. I thought I went around the planet and like the street never ends, But that was funny. But while I was in Santa Monica, I actually walked by because I was also training karate. When I quit soccer, I wanted to be, keep being physically fit. So I got heavily into martial arts. I'm a black belt now. Over that, then I walked by a karate school in Santa Monica. And when I looked at it, and just Santa Monica was so peaceful, and I just stopped in for a second. I heard something. I heard my head talk to me and say, "You're gonna live here." And I knew it. I was like, for some reason, you're gonna live here. Belgrade, my city, is more like Miami or New York. It's like alive 24 hours. You gotta you go out 4 a.m. You can go somewhere. There's people. Santa Monica is more peaceful. So sometimes when I'm in LA, I miss that sort of rush, but I don't feel bad about it. I have my peace here, and then I can go and party when I want to. So I knew I was going to live here. I just knew. So anyway, I was here for 3 days. I went back to New York, then went back to Serbia, relaxed, kind of filled my batteries, and my OPT arrived. I decided not to go back to New York. I decided to come to LA.
Thanks for listening to the Hollywood Actor Podcast. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share.